and for those of you who are here but really don't know much about Space Command, basically the idea is, we all grew up with science fiction in the 50s, Heinlein, Asimov, Ray Bradbury, Robert Heinlein, and watched movies like Forbidden Planet, and of course were inspired by the original Star Trek. And the dream that they were writing about, the shared universe dream of us going out into space, colonizing and exploring our solar system, and then jumping out to the stars and meeting alien races and all of that. This is the dream we're continuing with Space Command. It's going to be a big, epic canvas. It follows two families over several generations, 200 years, and so we're generating. And so I basically asked my friends to come make this dream a reality, and that's what we're doing. So, Doug, I don't know if you want to talk for a couple minutes about the effects. Maybe he's not on.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. There it is. There we go.
Oh, I'm on.
Okay, great.
Not quite sure what to say.
Well, Doug, again, as I mentioned, this is the fun part, because we're doing this totally without a studio, totally without a network. It's the audience providing us with funds to make this. So with Kickstarter at SpaceCommandMovie.com, this is what we're able to generate. So we don't have to do second-rate work. We can do our A game, because Doug's day job is working on Defiance, right? That's at Universal. Yeah. So Doug, first of all, what's the appeal of this kind of story, this kind of material?
The first thing I have to say, where I have to start, is that I just have to do this. I just have to have outer space adventure. There's nothing happening right now. I think that a lot of you probably feel the same way I do, that we've been kind of let down and ignored by the studios. Yeah. There's nothing in production. We had a big letdown with Blood and Chrome. We don't know if we hope someday Blood and Chrome will come out. But there just isn't anything going on right now. So,
yeah.
God damn it. We're going to do it ourselves. If it's the only way, that's what we're going to do it.
Yeah.
We have to. It's in your DNA, right?
Yeah.
It's hardwired. You don't even know why.
Well, it's a hopeful vision of the future. It's a vision of mankind, becoming something more. It's what the original Star Trek brought to so many of us, and Next Gen after that.
It's a brand of space adventure that has optimism to it. I mean, much like Star Trek does.
Yeah, and because if as much as I love Galactica, and Prometheus is an interesting.
Oh, Galactica could get pretty grim.
It was very dark. They never even had a birthday party. So
we used to like to say that nobody had a good day on the Battlestar Galactica.
That's right. But so
amazing show though.
But the lovely thing is that Doug and I are both able to reach out to a lot of our friends, and Doug, the team that you had that did those shots. I don't know if you want to mention some of those people or some of their credentials, but it's phenomenal.
Well, I mean, what's really amazing to me is that I did the first sizzle reel, which basically was done in my spare time, in no time flat, really, because we wanted to get this thing going.
Yeah.
And the reaction was so huge, not just among the fans, but among all of my friends who I've been working with. I've probably been in CG now for about 13 years, I guess. At the end of Enterprise, I ended up, No. Now I'm a little mixed up. It was at the end of Deep Space Nine, I ended up at Foundation Imaging, and then going back to the Star Trek Art Department to do Enterprise. So in that amount of time, I've met some really, really amazing people. And when we finally got together to do Battlestar Galactica, it was Gary Hutzel, who I met on Next Generation when I was still doing makeup. I was a makeup artist on Next Generation for 3 years. And we hit it off right away. The guy has an amazing sense of humor, and there's nothing more important than funny, and the guy's really funny. But my relationship with Gary grew, and when I ended up in the art department working with Mike Okuda, whenever Gary would run out of budget, everything was physical at that time. All the models were physical, shot with actual film and stuff like that. And they really didn't have. Next Gen had a decent budget, but they didn't always have enough. And often Gary would run out of budget, and he would need a Klingon space station. And he knew he could come to the art department, and that we had a room that if we found an interesting part, we would just throw it in there, and know that later on it would end up on a Romulan ship or something like that.
And one thing we're doing now is we're actually building sets. We're building spacesuits. Andy Probert is aboard. If you know him, he's another great effects guy off of the Star Trek films and TV shows.
Andy is absolutely brilliant, and it's just a shame that he hasn't been used more. And for me, it's a real dream come true to get to work with Andy on this. He loves this kind of thing, and it's hardwired into him either, as well. He has no idea. Just it's just in there. He has to do it. He's done amazing drawings for the spacesuit. The spacesuit just looks spectacular.
It's great stuff.
designs for the flight deck are really, really amazing. And
So,
I think that
yeah.
they're going to be very dramatic.
And again, if you go to spacecommandmovie.com, you can see a lot of the designs we've been working up, a lot of the illustrations, and that also takes you over to our website. There's lots of videos of stuff being constructed. It's really great stuff. And so thank you for this, Doug. This is just phenomenal. It's great.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for making our dream come true. I promise you, every penny is going to go onto the screen. We're not getting paid. Nobody's getting paid on this. We're doing it just because we got to do it.
Yeah.
We have to.
It's a new model. It's a totally new model. But what with the studio or network would cost many millions of dollars, we can make for the money we've raised so far. I mean, obviously, our campaign ends tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. If any of you want to go on there and donate $1 or $10,000, you're more than welcome to. But as soon as the campaign ends, we're already in pre-production. We're already building this. We're going to be able to make the first film and the first half-hour storyline. Right now, right off the bat, we're going to do 4 movies and 3 half-hour stories. They're set at various points along the timeline of these two families and these generations of these families.